onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na-eja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise, ise, ise.
Sunday to you. Happy Sunday. You're welcome. May Chukwu Okike Abiama guide and protect every one of us. We will all walk into Biafra. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. We are moving on. Our spirit ambassador Dan Kanu said, we must continue. That is the spirit. We must continue. Paris Ben. Yes, we must continue. Welcome, Paris Ben. We must continue. It doesn't matter what they are saying. It doesn't matter what they are doing. It doesn't matter what anybody says. The ultimate goal is our freedom. The ultimate goal is our freedom. We must continue. And freedom is sure. Our freedom is 101% sure. I'm even more confident now than ever. I am much more confident now than ever. Every day I wake up, I have more confidence that Biafra is here. It's here already. That is why you are seeing every trouble you are seeing. You're seeing every confusion you are seeing from all angles, from all sections. But the most important thing that Biafrans do not get distracted. Do not get distracted. Shalom, Ijoma Adele. Thank you so much for coming, Ijoma. God bless you. Don't be distracted. Do not be distracted. It doesn't matter what you see. It doesn't matter what you hear. Don't be distracted. This is not the time to be distracted. Don't keep yourself busy talking about irrelevant things or people that are not relevant. The only thing that matters to you and I is the freedom of Biafra. The freedom of our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu. It is the freedom of Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu that will bring us the freedom of Biafra. And we must continue to pursue the freedom of Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu. No man can stop it. The freedom of our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu is not in the hand of any man. Only in the hand of Chukwu Okike Abiama. And that is our strength. That is why we continue to speak about it every day, every minute, every second. We cannot stop. It doesn't matter. There is nothing you will see today that you have not seen before. For some people who are saying they are weak, some people are losing faith, some people are getting weak. There is nothing that is happening today that you have not seen before. Everything that is happening in the struggle of Biafra has happened in every other struggle. That is why if you are a freedom fighter, you are fighting for your freedom, you have to open your mind to everything. And also study other people who have fought. Other people who have fought for their own freedom. Study them and see how they have fight for their freedom. Today, our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu is in the net of the enemy. What are you doing? What are you doing to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released unconditionally, unharmed? What are you doing? Are you going to chicken out simply because they are holding our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu? You want to chicken out? Of course no. Are we going to begin to sing a different music because they are holding our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu? The answer is no. Are we going to tone down the pressure because they are holding our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu? The answer is no. This is the time we have to tune up the pressure. Don't tune it down. Why must anybody tune it down? Why must anybody tone down the struggle of Biafra? You can't tune it down. The right thing to do is to tone it up. Raise the volume. Raise the volume of the struggle. That is how it is. Every other country that fought for freedom, that is how they did it. If you hold their leader, they will raise the alarm and they will tune it up. You hold a leader of a struggle, it will become very tough and ungovernable for you. You can't handle it anymore. And that is how the freedom comes. Closer. Closer. Our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu used to say it. That if they hold him, any day they tamper and hold him or do anything to him, that is the day Biafra arrives. And today, our Supreme Amazon Kanu is in their net and you are scared, thinking that it will not. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said everything that is happening today, that they were bound to happen. So we are not shaking. And we cannot tone it down. We are going to tone it up. And don't be scared. Don't be anything you are doing to make sure that Supreme Amazon come out, to make sure that Biafra struggle continues. Continue to do the same thing. Don't be scared that somebody is going to call you a terrorist or somebody is going to give you a name. There is no name they have not given us. Every name, every frame up you think they want to do, they have done it already. And we are not the first people. We are not the first people. Every people in this planet world that fought for freedom, they have been tagged terrorists in one time or the other. They have been tagged terrorists in one, including Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. When he was looking for Nigeria independence, he was tagged a terrorist by Britain. He was tagged a terrorist by Britain. Mandela, that finally brought out the South Africans from whatever, that led the struggle for South Africa. Mandela was branded a terrorist. The South Africans and their movement, they were branded terrorists. But today, they are the people running the affair in their country. Today, that Mandela they call a terrorist is celebrated all over the world. Even Martin Luther himself was regarded as a terrorist. The people that people are celebrating today, they were all at one time or the other called terrorists. So why should you stop what you are doing or begin to be afraid simply because you don't want somebody to call you a terrorist? If you don't want somebody to call you a terrorist, that means you don't want to have your freedom. That is what it means. If you are still waiting for them to give you a beautiful name, you want your enemy to design a beautiful name for you before you can go for your freedom, that means you don't know what you are doing. Everything we are doing to make sure that our Sultan Nnamdi Kanu is being released, that to make sure that Biafra is being actualized, we have to tune it up. And the reason why we have to tune it up is because they are holding our supreme leader. We cannot be silent. Every strategy that our Sultan Nnamdi Kanu have taught us, every strategy, everything that we have learned from him, this is the time to apply it. We apply it and then apply our common sense and add to whatever he has told us. We have to add. This is the time everybody has something to contribute. It doesn't matter the role you are playing. There are some people who are working on the ground. Some people are working on the ground, doing certain things. They should tune it up and do it more. If you're one of those who are protesting openly, protest openly more. Protest more than ever, more than you have ever done. If you are broadcasting, tone up your broadcast. Change your tone, turn it up. Continue to raise their alarm. If you're one of those who are on self-defense on the ground, if you're on self-defense, stand on your ground and continue to stand on self-defense. Continue to fight back. Don't turn it down. If anybody is telling you to turn it down so that they will not call it terrorist, that person is a bad person. He's a deceiver. That person is deceiving you. You don't turn anything down in time of struggle. And if you have forgotten, I have to remind you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu raised the dragon flag before he was kidnapped. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu raised the dragon flag before he was kidnapped, and he told us that that dragon flag will not go down until Biafra comes. Go and read and study and know what dragon flag is. What it is to raise the dragon flag. Are you going to bring down the dragon flag simply because your leader is not there? Does it mean that the leader did not train anybody? Does it mean the leader was working alone? Of course not. He trained a lot of soldiers. He was never working alone. He was working with so many people. That is why we have to tune it up. Don't bring it down. Anybody who is bringing any suggestion to tone down the struggle, to water down the struggle, you don't know what you are doing. You don't know what you are doing. You don't know what you are doing. You are playing into the hand of the enemy. You have to appear before your enemy fearless. It doesn't matter whom they are holding. It doesn't matter what they are doing. It doesn't matter the strategy they are holding. You have to appear fearless. That is the way to frighten them. And that is the strategy our Sultan Mazi Nnamdi Kanu used. Our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was fearless. Fearless. Even at the face of death, he was still speaking. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a coward, when they arrested him in Nigeria, they hold him in prison after they gave him bail the first time. When they gave him bail the first time, they told him not to broadcast. Do not stand between where there is more than 10 people. This was what they told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to make sure they break him down. Maybe some of you have forgotten. One of the conditions they gave him when they released him last time, when they gave him bail, was that he should not stand where there are more than 10 people. What did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu do? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, did he listen to that nonsense instruction? He did not listen to it because he knows whom he's fighting. Instead of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu reducing the number of people he was talking to, he increased it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu increased the number, he increased the volume. That was even when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started having the greatest rally ever. After he was released, that was when you saw rally. He was visiting from one state to the other. He turned it up, turned it up, turned it up. That is how to get them. And they became afraid. They started shaking. And that was when they made different kinds of mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes and they started shivering. But when you begin to act like a coward, begin to buy into the idea of this, you begin to run on the same road with the politicians, you are already losing it. You are losing it. It means you have not learned anything from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. As you can see, some people are still talking about the election. The election they are talking about, which we say will not hold, did not hold. Go and check the result they are bringing out and what is happening. Those people, what we are telling them is what is happening. They are already crying. And the world is seeing what happened. How many people did you see them participate in the election? Out of the people, even the number they are bringing, do you know how many people they brought from other states? From other states. And they have ended up in doing the appointment at the point they do always. But the greatest happiness of every Biafran, don't be disappointed. Some people say they are very disappointed. Don't be disappointed. That is what they want you to feel. They want you to feel defeated. What the Janjaweed wants you to do is to feel defeated that they have conducted an election. They didn't conduct an election. In a governorship election, how many people participated? What number, what population did the governor, the person win? What population participated? How many people from Anambra State, Biafrans voted? How many Biafrans voted? You saw many videos in so many places where no single vote was cast. Where people were lamenting. Some of them, nobody appeared at all. Even their electoral commission, they were scared to go to some areas. They didn't come. And they wrote their result. They wrote the result. They wrote it. Which is exactly what they have been doing. And that is what we want them to do so that the world will see it. That is what we want them to do. That's it they have been doing that we don't like. Let them do it and we stay aside so that the world can see it clearly. That was what we are supposed to do. But instead of us staying away, some people are telling us to go and participate. Participate in what? Participate in what? You have seen it. You have seen it. Another Hope Uzodinma coming to Anambra State. But it's not there. There is nothing that will happen today that we have not seen. There is nothing. Just like when they were, some people say if they don't conduct the election, they will do state of emergency. Why should anybody from the southeastern part of Nigeria be afraid of state of emergency? Why should anybody from the southeastern part of Nigeria be afraid of state of emergency? State of emergency that you have been seeing since you were born. Since you were born, most of us, since we were born, we have been seeing state of emergency. Anybody that was born after the Biafran War, you have been seeing state of emergency in that place every day. A militarized zone, a place where there is no war, yet you have military walking around everywhere. Police carrying gun up and down, killing people and shooting desperately. And you are still talking of state of emergency. When the state of emergency is already there. Some of them are talking about economy. When you talk about sitting at home, sit at home to air your opinion. They are talking about economy. What economy? What economy have you ever had? Which economy do you have in the Southeast? The economy that they themselves, the politicians, have destroyed. The politicians themselves have destroyed the economy of the Southeastern region. They have destroyed it. And you and I know that. And still, somebody will use that very language to begin to pull you, to begin to cajole you, and you will fall into them. It's a shame. It's a real shame for some of us who are listening to these politicians. The economy that they themselves have sworn that will never grow. It is this same economy, growing in the economy. That was what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu discussed with them. This is why they are trying to kill Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. To build the economy of the Southeastern region. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was fighting for. One of the things he spoke bold about. To build the economy of the Biafran region. The old Southeastern region, to build it. What did he tell them? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not ask them for money. He didn't ask them for anything. He told them, build the economy of the Biafran region. Then we can know where we can start to discuss. Did they do it? They didn't do it. You talk about importation. They are there. The so-called Nigeria you are talking about, the Janjaweed and people you are talking about, the selfish Nigerians and politicians you are talking about. Go and see them. Every day they are complaining about Lagos Port. They are telling us Lagos port is congested. Lagos port is congested. Lagos port is congested. You will see it on their conventional media. That Lagos port is congested. Nigeria, with the way it is, that zoo, the way it is and how big it is, the only place they have port is in Lagos. And they themselves are complaining that it is congested. There is no space. And yet, they do not want to open up the other ports in the Biafra land. Biafra land have a lot of sea. We are close to the sea. They have refused to open up the port here. River State have a port. One have a port. There is another port in Delta State. They don't want to open it. To dredge River Niger, they don't want to do it. And no politician is standing up on the ground to mount his or her leg and make a case about this. You have lawmakers who claim to be representing the Biafra land. Both the ones from the so-called South and the Southeast. All the lawmakers, none of them is speaking up about things that matters. And each time you hear them talking about the economy. The importation they are doing in that very Lagos state, all the container that is coming to Tinkan, 99% of people who are making the importation are people from Biafra land. 99% of people who are involved in the deportation, all those containers you are seeing in that place that they are claiming that is congested, they are from Biafra land. Why don't you open that port in Biafra land? Open a port for us in Biafra land so that we can pay a tax in that place and develop it. They have made it so difficult that our people cannot survive in our own land. We can't survive in our own. When you bring a container from abroad to Lagos State, when you land in Lagos State, for you to take that container from Lagos State to the southeast, you will spend more than what you spend to take that very container from abroad into Nigeria. You bring a container to that zoo contraption called Nigeria, it lands in Lagos. For you to take those goods to the Biafra land, you will spend double the amount you have spent to bring the goods from abroad. This is the situation we find ourselves. They have international airport. There is no international airport in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Don't tell me that we have Enugu. Enugu is not functioning. How many international flights are going to Enugu? How many international flights are going to Enugu? And still yet, 80% of the people who are using that international flight, 80% of them are people from Biafra land. People from Biafra land. How many Northerners are traveling? It is only the Biafrans and Uduas are traveling. How many Northerners are traveling? And yet, they have Kano International Airport. In Kano, you have International Airport. And somebody who claims to be a lawmaker, talking about economy, sees all these things that will be the economy of the southern part of Nigeria, and they are not talking about it. They are not talking about it. Instead, when you are now demanding for what is right, by sitting at home to demand for that thing that is right, they will tell you not to participate, that it will affect your economy. The person that is preaching against you doing what is right, they will give him money. The little money they will allocate for him to come and build road in the southeastern region, he will not do it. He will pocket the money. Yet he will tell you that IPOB and Biafrans, that they are the one making the economy to go down. They will tell you that we are the one making the economy to go down. Yet the whole thing that have to build the economy, they are not participating in anything, anyone at all. The southeastern region have enough coal to give us light and give the Nigeria light. Have enough coal to give us light and give everybody light. They will not allow us to mine our coal. Their constitution will not allow us to mine that coal to be able to generate light and do other things we have to do in the southern part of Nigeria. In the southeast mainly, they will not allow us to use it. But in Zamfara, they have gold in Zamfara and they are mining the gold secretly. They are mining gold in Zamfara. That is supposed to be in Nigeria. They mine gold. How many times, as they are talking about the money they realize from oil, as they are talking about oil money, how many times have you seen them talking about the money they realize from gold? Have you ever heard about it? None of us even know that Nigeria had such amount of gold. It was only when they begin to fight about the money, when the bandits and their terrorists begin to fight for the money, that is how we realize that Nigeria have a large amount of gold. So many of us didn't know. They are mining that gold in the north. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is making case, and they share it within themselves. The gold, the state, Zamfara state is mining the gold by themselves. You saw a video that came out. You saw if a private jet will move from Zamfara to UK to supply gold. A private jet will move from the bush. They have a tarmac in the bush that take gold from Zamfara to Europe. You saw it on video. It is not a propaganda. This is happening. Yet, you say you have lawmakers. Those who call themselves one Nigerianists cannot make a case about this. They dare not talk about it. They dare not speak about it. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stand up and begin to ask for self-determination for his people, so that the Biafrans can be able to utilize the blessing that God have given them and develop themselves, you said he has committed a crime. That same self-determination that is asking for, self-determination is in your law, is in your own law. He's not the one that wrote it. He didn't create it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not asking for war. He was asking for self-determination through referendum. You said there is no referendum in your law, but you have conducted referendum so many times in your country called Nigeria. Referendum have been conducted so many times in so many occasions. For those who do not know, Nigeria have used referendum in so many places. But when it comes to the southeastern region, they don't want to apply referendum. They demonize referendum. Even if you don't apply referendum, there is what is called doctrine of necessity. Doctrine of necessity exists in Nigeria. It was that same doctrine of necessity that they applied. They applied it when Yaradua died. It was that same doctrine of necessity that brought Goodluck Jonathan. That was what brought Goodluck Jonathan. When things are going wrong, you have to take a necessary measure to correct it. And these people have seen. Our lawmakers see all these loopholes. Those who are supposed to be representing you and I, they see all these loopholes, or they will not use it. Instead of them fighting against the Janjaweed, they are coming back home to fight us. They are coming back home to fight we ourselves. All the lawmakers from the southern Nigeria, where they have their strength, is in our own when they come back home. When they go to the House of Assembly, you see them speaking grammar. They will go there or they begin to speak English that doesn't have meaning. Some of them will read dictionary to go and speak English in the House of Assembly. Meanwhile, that place they are speaking that grammar, the Hausa man from the north who is with them in that House of Assembly can't even understand English. He doesn't even understand the grammar you are speaking. But at the end of the day, they will win their debates and go home with something. You that claim to know grammar will not come back with anything. The only place that you have power is to come back to your own people and begin to demonize us. And begin to demonize us. That is why you saw the lawmakers, the governors came together to proscribe IPOB. They came together to proscribe IPOB. It wasn't the federal government that proscribed IPOB. It was the governors and the political elite and the Ohanes and people. It is in our body that they have power. But they cannot be able to go and challenge the federal government on the evil they are making on their people. Evil they are making on their people. Go and look at the southeast. Checkpoint everywhere in the southeast. Checkpoint as if there is a war. Checkpoint everywhere. They can't even challenge it. But when you go to north, you will run from state to state. You won't see any checkpoint. You won't see any single checkpoint. Our people are seeing this. When you see, they will come and talk. When you come, even when they come and make you promise and say they will remove the checkpoint, after saying it, the next day this checkpoint will increase. The only man who has single-handedly reduced the checkpoint to 0 was Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came and removed all the checkpoints. It was him that removed it. And what did they do? They went and brought the checkpoints back. They went and brought all the checkpoints. They brought it back. They brought it back. Secure your people, you said no. Secure your people, you said no. When your people decide to defend themselves, you label them terrorists. You join their killers and label them terrorists. Meanwhile, the people whom you are supporting have their own identified terrorists by the world. A terrorist group that the world have identified. The 4th deadliest terrorist group we have in the world, the Fulani Herdsmen. The 4th terrorist, the first worst terrorist group we have in the world, the 4th. They are in Nigeria. Not just in Nigeria. They are in the government of the Janjaweed. The Mieti Allah. And you that you call yourself a lawmaker, knowing all this, You don't fight against them. You are busy fighting against Sunday Igboho, fighting against our Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But the deadliest terrorists are there in the same government you are representing. You can't make any case. You can't speak about it. Instead, our governors will take them and put in their cabinets. They will take these terrorists and put their and they will be bold to tell you that I have members of Mieti Allah in my cabinet. Then they will come and put a price on our head. And that is why they cannot stand and challenge evil when evil is happening. When we say there is no Ruga, they say there will be Ruga. Everything you bring on the table, the so-called political elite will stand against it. It is very clear that the indigenous people of Biafra are not on the same line with these who call themselves politicians, and will never ever be. We will never ever be, because we never elected them. We have never ever voted for them. Today, you see, they have imposed somebody in Anambra. The person they imposed in Anambra, you and I did not vote for him. How is he going to work for you? This is somebody they have taken to Sokoto to go and swear oath. Somebody they have taken to Sokoto to swear oath, to swear allegiance to Sokoto. Now he's going to take over in Anambra State. When he take, how do you think? How on the planet Earth do you think he's going to stand for you and support you? How? Before you say anything, they will give him a call and he will begin to sing a different tone. There can never be peace in that country called Nigeria until it's been breaking up. Anybody who is asking for a sane Nigeria should be asking for a breakup. It is only a breakup that can bring a nation that people can be sensible and reasonable. Without that, we will continue to die, continue to be impoverished. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have found the solution. The solution for us to have a meaningful life. The solution for people to be secured. The solution for us to have a sensible nation. But yet, people are still dancing around because of their selfish interest. Because of their selfish interest. You see some of them who call themselves one Nigerianists. They will tell you to carry everybody along. The same thing they told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They told him, why are you fighting for only Biafra? Why not carry everybody along? Carry who along? Whom do you want to carry? How do you want to carry a Northern with you to go and do a protest? How do you want to do a Northern who believe in Allah Baka Kabamu? How can you be able to follow such people? People who believe, they don't trust on themselves. They don't believe that God should bless them. They want God to bless somebody so that the person will come and reach them. We are not the same people. We don't have the same ideology. Our prayer is God to bless anybody to grow. The prayer we're praying in the southeastern part of Nigeria, in the southern part of Nigeria, is that your child will grow stronger than you, grow wealthier than you, grow more popular than you. That is the prayer of every man. But in the north, it is not the same. In the north, they always want their people to continue to be an Almajiri, to be able to come and beg from them. Even the Almajiris are praying. When they are praying, they say, Allah Yebaka Kabamu. What does it mean? Make God give you so that you can give to us. They are not praying that God should give them their own blessing. That God should pass through somebody and give them their own blessing. We don't pray such prayer. We don't pray such prayer. The prayer of the Biafrans are, we are connecting to God directly. Give us our own blessing directly. Biafrans are not slaves. We are not slaves to anybody. Not even to our fellow Biafran. We are not slaves to anybody. Not even to our fellow Biafrans. We can't be slaves to anybody. This is a place that we cannot meet. Two of us cannot meet. We will never meet anywhere. And the more we continue to stay with these people, the more we continue to be impoverished. The more we continue to be enslaved. How can we move forward? We cannot. We cannot. Already, every killing that you are seeing today is something that is written in their constitution. Every poverty you see today is because of their constitution. I am not saying it. A senator came to the National Assembly and he said it. A senator. Not just a young senator. An old man, a senator who has seen it all. Who has served in seminary government. He came out in the National Assembly and he told them that the constitution you are using, as long as you continue to use that constitution, you will never find peace in Nigeria. Nigeria will never know peace. Nigeria will never know development. Nigeria will never know success. And Nigeria will never ever know unity. Somebody said it in the National Assembly. Everybody had it. We saw it on their conventional media. They posted it. Since that very thing was said by that old man, what have they done? Instead of seeking for a way to tear that tissue paper and throw it away, they are protecting it. Today you hear they are amending it. Tomorrow you hear they are amending it. How can you amend something that is not even existing? That thing is not a constitution. How can you amend it? And you see people who claim to be sensible in the southern part of Nigeria supporting this evil. When you touch them, some of them will tell you there is unity in diversity. There is unity in them. What kind of diversity? It is the diversity you have in Nigeria that is killing us. The only thing we have in the diversity in Nigeria is death, destruction, poverty, and failure. That is what the diversity we have in Nigeria, that is what it has brought. It is the diversity in Nigeria that has brought so much insecurity that people are dying in thousands on a daily basis. And the world are silent, they are not saying anything. It is because of the diversity we have in Nigeria that Nigeria can never ever succeed. The diversity is so much. We are not supposed to be in one place. We are not supposed to be in one place. It is so sad. Sometimes when I remember people we call our founding father, when I remember them, I begin to wonder, why did they put us into this trouble? I begin to blame blame Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, even Awolowo warned him. These people are not ready. Let us go our separate ways. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe say, let us wait for the North. When they were going for independence, they were going for independence. The North said they are not ready. They are not ready because they are never ready to work for themselves. They want the British to continue to run them. They can never work for themselves. They don't want to work. They don't want to improve themselves. And that same attitude is what they're still playing. They are never ready. Then Nnamdi Azikiwe continue to wait for these people and begin to carry them along. People that told you that they are not ready. Doesn't that ring a bell for you? Some group of people told you they are not ready for independence, yet you forced them and carried them. The Southwest was ready. The Yoruba people were ready. The Biafrans were ready. The North were not ready for independence. Why not leave them? Why not leave them? Why did you force them? Why do you have to wait for them? That waiting that Azikiwe was waiting for, that waiting is what brought us to the problem we are suffering today. That mistake that Azikiwe made to wait for the North to carry them along, that is why you and I are suffering today. It is because we are waiting for them that they came to the constitution and begin to talk about quota system. In that quota system, they have to make everybody from the southern part of Nigeria to be under them, to be equal to them by force, by fire. It doesn't matter how the Southerners try to educate themselves. It doesn't matter how a Southerner, how educated you are, how hardworking you are. They will bring you on the same level with an Almajiri. An Almajiri without a certificate will stand on the same office with you because of quota system, because of what Nnamdi Azikiwe did. Waiting for the North. We are still waiting for them up to tomorrow. And the worst thing is that people you are waiting for are never ever ready to develop themselves. They are not ready to increase in any angle. They are not ready. They are not ready. Everything since independence of the day, everything the South have to force them to do something before they do it. And they will not do it. That is why somebody is still talking about open grazing. Is this the South that is supposed to force them to stop open grazing? A normal human being is supposed to know that open grazing does not increase your product. It doesn't increase the cow. It's not healthy for cow. It's not healthy for the herdsman. It doesn't increase anything in that very business called headers. The life of the header is even in danger. It is not the Southerners that are supposed to fight that battle. If they were sensible people, if these people are people who are supposed to develop themselves, they were supposed to begin to talk about ranching within themselves even before anybody will put mouth. Even before anybody we add any opinion. But these are a bunch of idiots that don't want to grow. They don't want to develop themselves. Look at the people they call their leaders. Tell me what they have done. Tell me how they have improved themselves. Including the impost that the late Buhari. Late Buhari never improved himself. He has never done anything for himself. Everything he owns was done for him by the government. Through the government. He never owned anything. He never go back to school to improve himself. He never read any book. He never wrote any book. He never go back to school. They told us he went to military school. Every other person went to military school. Go and check the certificate of other people. Go and check the certificate of Agi Ironsi. Go and check the certificate of even Obasanjo that is there now. Check the certificate of all the military officers from the southern part of Nigeria. you will see where they're going to study and develop themselves. You will see their credentials. You will see their credentials. But in the north, show me the credentials of those people. People who don't have anything to show, yet you will be rubbing shoulder with them when it comes to position. And some people think it is okay to settle for second position. What a madness. What a madness. A man that doesn't have WAEC result, you and I know it. A professor is serving under the man as a slave. As a slave. Serving under somebody who doesn't have a WAEC result as a slave. A professor, a person who claimed to be a professor. Not just a professor, he also claimed to be a pastor. He also claimed to be a pastor. That brings me to the issue of people who claim to be Christians. I don't have problem with the Christian religion. I don't have problem with any religion at all. I do not have problem. But the people I have problem is the people who claim to be running those organizations. People who claim to be head of those religions. 99.9% of them don't know what they are doing. They are misleading their members. They are misleading their members. They are misleading. And the people who are most misled, the religion that are most misled are the Christians. Christians, sincere people who really want to see the face of the Lord. They want to see the face of the Lord. But because of some of them are so lazy. I am also a Christian. I am also a Christian. Because some of them are so lazy to read and know what their Bible say, they will only depend on the lie that they are being told. You see some of them sometimes, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talk about the pastor, they will come against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Why are you talking against the pastor? Why are you talking about Christianity? Why is it that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a Christian? But let me tell you, our superior Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is more of a Christian than anybody that calls himself a Christian in Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is more of a Christian than any single person you can think of in Nigeria. What is Christianity? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represent and do everything that Christianity stands for. Jesus Christ that we are talking about is a Jew. He's Jewish. He is Jewish. And the foundation of Christianity is Jewish. A foundation that was built on truth. No lie. Don't deceive your people. But what do you see in the present church today? Deception. Deception is what we see. Every time you talk about it, they say, touch not my anointed. Touch not my anointed. Touch not my anointed. Then ask them who is anointed. You are telling me touch not your anointed. Tell me who is anointed and what makes you an anointed person. Does calling you a pastor make you an anointed person? Does wearing a long robe make you an anointed person? No. It doesn't make you an anointed person. It does not make you an anointed person. People who were anointed, even in the Bible they are holding, we know the role they play in the government, in the affairs of the people. The people who were anointed, we saw in their Bible, we know the role they play. They were fighting for the people, and they were not fighting. They were not fighting on the side of the government. They are always fighting on the side of the people. Always fighting on the side of the people. But today, people who claim to be anointed are fighting on the side of the government. You see them trooping to Abuja. You see them trooping to Asarok one after the other. Go and read your Bible very well. Go and see when the prophets go to the king, what do they go to do? It's either they are going there to interpret a dream or they are going there to rebuke him. Check your Bible very well. Each time you see a prophet going to a king, they are going there either they are being invited to go and interpret a dream or they are going there to rebuke the king. They are not going there to take anything. They are not going there to dance to praise the king. They go there to interpret a dream or to rebuke him of evil. But what you see today, including some people you think they are holy, if you go to their church, they preach holiness from morning till night. They make people to dress like criminals, make people to dress like people who are insane. They begin to monitor your physical appearance, but inside them they are demonic. Demonic. That is why somebody who calls himself a man of God will come and tell me to pray for somebody that you know that is destroying your own people, that is killing people. That you are not supposed to talk against your leader. If you are a child of God, you are not supposed to talk to your leader. So even when your leader is killing you, This is the mentality we have in Africa that is putting us down. That mentality that you cannot speak up, you can't talk, say anything until you get a gray hair. That is why we are down. In the Western world, even a child has the right to air his or her own opinion and speak up when something is wrong. He will call his dad and say, "Daddy, this thing you are doing is wrong. It's wrong." But in Africa, you can't correct your elder. They say you can't correct your elder. When you correct your elder, instead of taking the correction, they will call it an insult. They will take it an insult. And that very attitude have enslaved the African section. It has enslaved Africans that when the young people even see the truth, they are so scared to speak about it. First of all, you will check your age. When you are telling somebody the truth, to be asking you what is your age, how old are you? That is why some idiot will come out and tell you that you that is talking Biafra, you are not born during the Biafran war. You didn't see the war. That is why you are talking about war. You didn't see the war. So must I see a war before I will know what is right and what is wrong? Do I have to see a war before I will know what is wrong and what is right? And by the way, has the war stopped? What is that thing that happened in the civil war that is not happening today? Is it dead body that we're not seeing today? Is it jet fighter that is bombing from the air that we're not seeing today? Is it hunger that you're not seeing today? Everything that happened in the civil war, we are still witnessing it today. You are still seeing jets flying all over and bombing places. So why would somebody begin to insult us or begin to tell us you didn't see the civil war, and because you didn't see the civil war, you don't have the right to agitate or right to talk of something that is happening? Is that not madness? And some of them who claim to witness the war, they don't even have a fact about what happened in the war. That was why Ike Ekweremadu came out when he was making his speech and tell us that 1 million people died during the civil war. Ike Ekweremadu telling us 1 million people, and he claimed that he fought during the war. Ike Ekweremadu claimed he fought during the war, and he was saying that it is 1 million people. A war that took almost 5 million people. The report to other people again, some people are giving a report of 3 million. But almost 5 million died. But somebody who claimed to be in the war, who will be telling me that he saw the war, that he participated, is telling me that it's 1 million. That is the kind of people who are, they are evil men. These politicians. You can't trust them. Why must anybody trust a politician? A Nigerian politician. Why must you trust him? Why must you trust a politician? People that don't have anything to offer. The same language they have been singing from onset is what they are saying. They don't change their strategy. They don't change their strategy. Every day you see them doing election, it's either I will build road, I will give water. I will build road, I will give water. I will build road, I will give water. That is what they have been doing. That is what they are doing. You come to federal government, they begin to talk about Niger Bridge. Niger Bridge, how many kilometers is Niger Bridge? How many kilometers is Niger Bridge that it cannot be able to build it in 1 year? How many kilometers? But you can see that how many governments in that very contraption have used Niger Bridge to make a campaign, as if they are doing the Southeast a favor. Building Niger Bridge is not a favor to Southeast. It is not a favor to Southeast. You are constructing it for your own self. You are constructing it for your own self. Your so-called one Nigeria, that is where they pass to come into Biafra land. That is where they come to pass into Biafra land. You are doing it for yourself. But at the end of the day, you will see these people coming to claim that they are working for us. Coming to talk down to somebody who is speaking up for his own people. It is so sad. It is so sad. Even when they know the obvious, they know the truth. They know the truth. You can see on their conventional bill, I saw one of them was speaking on the conventional bill when he was telling them that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I think it's P2B is telling them that I was believing that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is more popular than all the politicians put together. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is more popular than all the politicians in the southern part of Nigeria put together. Not just southeast, in the southern part of Nigeria. All the politicians put together, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is much more popular than them. And what is he fighting for? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not done any campaign to win people. He has not paid money for any rally. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had never one day paid money for rally. Instead, people volunteer on themselves and pay money and come. But them, they share money, they pay money, they bribe people, and yet, they can't get the number. They can't get the popularity. Each time you're talking about disintegration, they bring all manner of lie. They tell you that Igbos are scattered everywhere. And for that, because Igbos are scattered everywhere, that why are you trying to divide? If you divide an Igbo, why should Igbos be scattered everywhere? Why should Igbos scattered everywhere? We are the children of Abraham. We are not Ishmaelites. The people that are wandering about, we are not wanderers. People who are wanderers are Ishmaelites. The Ishmaelites, that the people who are wanderers, we are not wanderers. Don't tell me that Igbos are scattered everywhere, they can move about. We are doing our business and we have a home to return to. We are not wanderers. Don't tell me that Igbos are scattered everywhere. Because of that, we cannot have our own nation. We are supposed to have a nation of our own. The Biafrans are supposed to have a nation of their own where they will return. After traveling, they come back to their home. Just like the Israelites. Go to all parts of the world. In every government of the world, you can see. Go there, you will see the greatest business you have there with huge amount of money is owned by the Israelis. Even in Arab land, they have business. Israelis have business in huge number, in a very huge amount. But they have their own country. They have their home where they return to. The Israelites are scattered all over the world. There is no country that exists in the planet Earth that you don't see a Jew. They are there. But they have a home. So how is somebody going to be telling me that we cannot have Biafra because we have a great population? How can you be saying that? You see some people trying to chicken out from the struggle. They don't want to participate. They don't want to say anything. Some of them will tell you about intermarriage. That we have mixed together. We have married a lot of Hausa people. We have married a lot of Yoruba people. We have married a lot of Middle Belters that you cannot be able to do. Who told you that? What does marriage have to do with a nation? We are talking about a nation. It doesn't have anything to do with marriage. It doesn't have anything to do with marriage. There are so many of us who are married abroad. So many are married in Europe. So many are married in the United States. So many are married in Canada. So many are married in Australia. Does that stop them from being a citizen of their own country? It doesn't stop you. You can choose where you have to have your own citizenship. You can have a dual citizenship if it permits. If it doesn't permit you to have a dual citizen, you choose where you want to be. How can you be justifying issue of marriage because of people intermarry? Because of that, they cannot be able to have their own nation. Is that not madness? These are the useless arguments that they are bringing. But the most important thing is that we must not lose focus. We must not lose. This is the time we are supposed to be speaking louder. Don't chicken out. Don't show any sign of weakness in the presence of your enemy. We cannot. We cannot afford to show weakness. No matter who you are, anything you can do to see that Biafra comes, continue to do it on your own. The spirit of Biafra have taken over. The spirit of Biafra have taken over on autopilot. Everybody is on autopilot. As I'm doing what I feel I can do, you have something you can do. You can share this video. You can continue to share this video to reach other people. It is something. When you are sharing the video to reach other people, it is something. When you are giving your own comment and liking the video, it is something. You are promoting the struggle. Everything you can do to make sure that people are hearing our voice, you got to continue to do it. Don't wait on somebody. Don't wait on anybody. Don't wait on anybody whatsoever. Our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have laid a very, very solid foundation. And if you build another foundation apart from that one that he has built, you are going to fall. You will fall with your head down. You will fall with your head down. I bet you will fall with your head down. And you will not see a place to stand. It is high time we begin to sing the real music. Turn it up. Do not turn it down. This is the time we have to turn this struggle. Turn it up. Turn it up more. Turn it up more. That is the way to go. If anybody is trying to tell you to turn it down, to begin to carry a propaganda to cajole you and tell you that they want to tag you terrorists, if you don't want them to tag you terrorists, that means you are not ready to be free. Do you think your enemy will give you a beautiful name? Your enemy. You think your enemy will give you a beautiful name? If you are waiting for the day your enemy will give you a beautiful name, you better prepare yourself to be more, to be enslaved more. Prepare yourself to be enslaved more. We are not scared. The world knows the truth. That is the most happiest thing. They know the truth. That thing you are scared of, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has fought against it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have laid the foundation and cleared that road for you. Nobody is going to tag you a terrorist anyway. Nobody. Mazi Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has denigrated. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu employed lobbyists. When he was saying it on national on his broadcast, some of you didn't hear it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu employed lobbyists. IPOB is paying lobbyists in the United States hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. Hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. People who are speaking up and bringing the case of IPOB, the case of the indigenous people of Biafra before the world. A lot of international lawyers are working day and night for members of Biafra, IPOB. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have laid a strong foundation. Why are you scared of somebody calling you a terrorist? Already you see a congressman in the United States, a congressman who is in charge of African affairs, coming out to speak on our behalf, saying that we are not terrorists. That the government of Nigeria is only demonizing us in order to kill us. A congressman in the United States, a top congressman making that case, somebody who is in charge of African affairs, making that case. Were you the one that made it possible? Were you the one? Those are the struggle. Those are what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have put in place. So why would somebody be trying to tone down the tone of the struggle? You want to turn it down because you don't want them to call it terrorists. You want to turn it down because you don't want the frame up of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Frame up who? Frame up who? I used to tell people, there is no court on the planet Earth that will convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It doesn't matter the evidence it doesn't matter the evidence you concoct. It doesn't matter the setup you plan. There is no court in the planet Earth that is going to convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The answers to every question you are asking, he has it in one of his broadcasts. Every answer you bring before him, anything you want to accuse him of, the answer is already in his broadcast. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have a lot of broadcasts that he left for. So many of us are ignoring it. They say it's an old broadcast. Don't ignore any broadcast you see. Any place you see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu speaking in an interview or a broadcast, don't ignore it. Go back and listen to it again and again. Each time you listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you must have something to pick from his comment. You must have something to pick. It is now I know that so many people, even people who are following Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who claim to be very close to him, they don't even listen to his broadcast. People who claim to be very close to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who claim to be defending him, people who come online every day to shout, it is very clear that they don't listen to broadcasts of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because if these people are listening to broadcasts of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, there is one of his broadcasts which I'm going to search for and post. One of his broadcasts where he said, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told us that be ready to be called a terrorist. If you are not ready to be called a terrorist, that means you don't want to be free. That was the day Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told us about Mandela being called a terrorist, Martin Luther King being called a terrorist, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe being called a terrorist, even Awolowo being called a terrorist. So many other people named a terrorist, people who became heroes today. They were called a terrorist when they were fighting a just cause. They were fighting a just cause. And you today, you are afraid because you don't want them to call you a terrorist. You are turning down the struggle. You are playing down the struggle, making everything soft. You must be sick. You must be sick. And there was one revelation our brother Simon Ekpa made yesterday, that they want to take down Radio Biafra in the UK. I saw that program Simon Ekpa made, and I just watched it. I'm surprised. I hope the leadership of IPOB have seen that very broadcast. I don't know what is happening. They want to bring down the Radio Biafra in London. They want to bring it down. They have even given ultimatum of 2 months for the very date that was given. 2 months. After that, if something is not done, they will take down the Radio Biafra in London. This is going on, and we don't know what is happening. We don't know who is responsible. We don't know who is responsible. Attack against what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have built. Instead of protecting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and protecting everything he put on place, people are destroying it on a daily basis. People are bent on destroying every effort that man has made. A man that have given it all. He gave his life, gave his family, gave his throne, gave his palace, gave everything. And today he's in captivity because of you and I. Instead of you standing up for him and speaking up for his unconditional release, you are busy destroying the foundation that he has laid. Foundation of truth. Foundation of consistency. You are destroying it. And you think that Chukwu Okike Abiama will allow you to go free? You think that Chukwu Okike Abiama will allow you to get free? You can't go free. You can't be free. It doesn't matter what you do or what you say. You can't go free. Everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stand for, some people are bent on destroying it. Everybody that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu hold dear to his heart, they are pushing them away. Look at our mothers. Look at our mothers. Umuada in the United States. Umuada in the United States that are doing wonders. They have been underground for a very long time, doing wonders, doing wonderful things. Mothers doing wonderful things. Brave women who are in top position in the United States. Even a judge, United States judge is among them. A judge in the United States is among our Umuada in the United States. And somebody will stand up and be talking down on them, be insulting them. And because we, the men, are not doing what they are supposed to do, today they are broadcasting, coming out to broadcast on their own. They are making a broadcast today, setting the record straight, becoming the symbol of justice and the face of the struggle. It is so sad. I want to fight more, and there is no going back.
Win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Unapoli Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Unapoli Mary Nnamdi bu onyedu aimo. O Mary wone nizu ungiroya. Abakare Mamanda Ora Unapoli Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Unapoli Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Unapoli Mary Nnamdi.